Were you once considered the best at something, but now you're washed? If this is you, then you are like Zerkaa's Among Us career. At the peak of Zerkaa playing Among Us, he was almost equivalent to Miniminter and probably better than him. But Among Us since then has gone through many changes with more roles and playstyles, and Zerkaa, being true to his old geezer stereotype, couldn't adapt. He had a string of dying first or early as a crewmate, and is way too slow to kill with the new roles. So, you are like Among Us Zerkaa in real life. If you were once great but you failed to adapt or chose not to learn, so now you're just mid. Randolph isn't a Sidemen member, but he has played more than 150 Among Us games with them, and while there are many amazing Randolph Among Us moments, almost everyone will always remember him for being the first to win in a Sidemen Among Us as a jester. However, the more insane part of this is that Randolph used pure racism to win it, and it was played to absolute perfection, so no one suspected him to be the jester, voting him out despite the outlandish, minutely racist claim he made. Thus, this also means what Randolph did to win as the jester can never be repeated in a Sidemen Among Us lobby again. So, you are like Among Us Randolph if you have done that one absolute bad crazy thing in your rather normal life that everyone will remember you for the rest of eternity. Also, speaking of racism, if you ever looked at the most Sidemen Among Us stats by the cache, you would have noticed that every here has a kill to death ratio of more than 1. Not suggesting anything, but just saying. Having the worst imposter win percentage, highest task completion percentage, and the highest all tasks completed all signifies one thing. TBJZL is a nice guy in Among Us, but importantly, he really can't give a shit about what's happening. He's just there in it. Every round does tasks, completes all of them, and well, that's about it. You do get some flashes of excitement from him, especially as so far he is the only imposter to use the Warlock power effectively. So, if you're like an Among Us TBJZL in real life, well, you just exist. You're neither happy or sad, and from time to time, you do something cool or something amazing. But other than that, you ignore everything and just get stuff done. You see, Danny Aarons is recently engaged, is expecting, and well, man's been doing well. However, Danny Aarons in Among Us is a different beast, because he can be somewhat of an insane gaslighter on a recurring basis. So not as dangerous as Miniminter, and more about that in part 3, which I will post after part 2. So subscribe. Unlike Miniminter, Danny Aarons' gaslighting is noticed when he is a crewmate, mostly voting out someone that is not an imposter. Most notably, Laserbeam. What really helps him is his ability to be heard, and importantly, his ability to get everyone to listen to him. Well, until it starts becoming a bit annoying. So, are you someone that managed to get a whole group of people into believing something that's definitely not true, and in turn causing people to lose trust in you to the point where no one believes you now? So you make up a new lie which for some reason everyone believes, and you're now stuck in a cycle. Well, if that's you, that means you are like an Among Us Danny Aarons. I mean, everyone who watched Sidemen Among Us knows this by now, and Behzinga's low crewmate win percentage is proof of that, although due to recent developments, Zerkaa isn't that far off, while TBJZL's stats is due to a different issue, as I explained. Now, there are many old examples of Behzinga being a third imposter and throwing the game big time. However, you might wonder, how can this be related to me? Well, you're like an Among Us Behzinga aka a third imposter if you have always supported that one person all your life, only to find out he's a P. Diddy fan. Well, congratulations, you're a third imposter. 1000 subscribers for part 2, so subscribe, and then part 3 after that.